I'll sell you a timeshare.
Gentlemen, welcome in. It's Tuesday night. You know what time it is. Bama Standard is on the air. But more importantly, folks, you know what week this is. The third Saturday in October, the greatest week of the year, greatest rivalry in college football, hands down. Hey, before we get started, I need a few things from our audience. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're in the live chat, I expect you to get rowdy tonight. We got a lot of things going to be popping. We got some serious guests. You know what we do here. We do it big. I'm your host, Justin Riley. With me is my all-star crew, headlined by the 1999 All-SEC linebacker, Marvin Constant. And then I got the man, Daniel Pettey, who was the king of the strip in Tuscaloosa. He is never shy about sharing his feelings. Welcome back, fellas.
Good to be here.
That's not enough energy.
I was waiting on Marvin. He got all quiet. I thought he was going to yell and all that stuff. So I'm like, all right, I'm good to be here. I guess he's looking at that timeshare stuff I sent him before pre-show.
Yeah, he could be. But Marvin, biggest week of the year so far. I need you to tell the folks who we got on this panel tonight to help us do it right.
I think the cloud done got Marvin.
Something. All right, Marvin, you with us?
Yeah, this thing was over buffering. I don't know what was going on. I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Now the folks need to know who's on the panel.
All right, listen, man. I'm listen. They always say introduce and take care of your guests first. So I'm gonna start with my friend here. from one of our biggest rivals. I will say one of the best people and nicest people that I've ever met in my life. An amazing family, man. When I say amazing, you can't take anything from him, from mom down. Like so great athlete as well, man. The things that he did on the field, man. University of Tennessee and out. I mean, it's CNN contributor. What more can you say about the man? The one and only Donté Stallworth.
Yes, sir. Glad to have you in, brother.
Now,
appreciate it.
But my brother, Bama Sci-Fi, the man himself, the offensive line eater, field goal blocker, national championship season preserver himself. The one and only T. Cody, baby. Coach Cody, what's up?
Man, what's good with y'all? What's good with y'all, man?
Cody.
What's good? Man. What's good, man? I ain't seen you in a minute, man.
I know, it's been a minute, brother. It's been a minute. It's good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Now that y'all have exchanged pleasantries, y'all are both members of the Ravens flock. We got that. But for the duration of this show, y'all ain't on the same side. Let's be clear about
that. We're going to get into it tonight.
Brotherhood, man. We all love each other, man. It's a brotherhood.
We'll save the love to after the game. So let's get it started. Whoa.
Don't know I did that. I don't know why I'm going
Okay.
sideways on the thing.
So that's the last time we use AT&T as our Wi-Fi provider. All right, back to the matter at hand. Let's talk about the third Saturday in October, the legacy and rivalry. What does it mean personally? I need my guys who've actually lived this game to talk this up. Guys, what does the third Saturday in October rivalry mean personally? How did this game feel different from any other on the schedule? Let's start out with our man, Donté Stallworth. Then we'll go up to Cody, and then we'll let Marvin do a little bit of talking. Talk to me, Donté.
Yeah, so I'm originally from California, so I didn't grow up with this rival. I kind of inherited it when I went to school in Tennessee. But you know right away who the team is that we need to beat every year. If we want to win a lot of games, but if we win this one game, that we could at least say at the end of the year, no matter how the season ended, at least we beat Alabama. That's how we always felt. And so I saw that coming to the University of Tennessee. Coach Fulmer was a big part of it. He played there, coached there, obviously, and just seeing how big the rivalry was, how big. I tell people all the time. I almost got into it with my brother last year, my younger brother, who told me he was getting married in October. And the first thing I said to him was, do not get married on the third Saturday of October. And it just so happens to be that that's right around the time when they met. So they were going to have to do it on the third Saturday of October. And I told him, I said, I'm not going. I was joking, obviously. I love my brother, but I told him I'm not going. I asked you specifically not to do this, because it's all about me. It's not about you and your wedding day and you and your wife's wedding day. It's all about me. And the third Saturday in October belongs to Tennessee and Alabama. But some technicalities happened where it was pushed a week forward. We were playing Florida. Still a little upset, but I was like, at least it's not Alabama, and I can go to the Alabama game. We won. It was a good game.
I heard that.
Big rivalry. I love it.
Well, let me ask you something, Donté. So I heard a story about your recruiting process, and prior to how you did your homework, and you knew all things about Tennessee prior to making that decision. So was this rivalry a part of that decision in your research and deciding that, hey, I want to play at Tennessee, I want to be a part of these types of rivalries?
That's a great question, Marv. The funny part about it is I wasn't attached to – at this time, I'm old enough to where, kids weren't traveling cross country to play sports, specifically football. Kids were pretty much staying regional, so the West Coast kids would stay in the Pac-10, which it was called at the time. The SEC kids would be from all the SEC states. And, the Northeast kids would stay up there and play in the Northeast and the Big West and all that, right? You're from Ohio, you go to Ohio, Michigan State. So that's how it used to be. And when I was looking at it, I just going on my visit to Tennessee, I saw how different it was. I saw how different the love of the game was, different than any other place I had been. But at that point, it had been a couple of Pac-10 schools. So I knew that I needed to be somewhere where they love football as much as I did. And I found out very quickly that, it's not just Tennessee, it's the SEC, right? Like every team in the SEC has its own tradition. They have its own rivalry with, one or two other teams in the conference. And it's been that way for a long time. And looking at, so I kind of mirrored Peyton, his career, right? As far as the grades. Peyton was a freshman in college. I was a freshman in high school. And then so when Peyton was a senior in college and I was a senior in high school, when I took my visit and just, checking on Tennessee every week and, seeing them beat Alabama that year, that to me, I think was kind of like the icing on the cake, even though we didn't beat Florida that year, but we beat Alabama, and then we went on to win the SEC championship. And so that just kind of was like, all right, this is what you're gonna do. Like, this is the rivalries that you have. And I'm sorry, my people in California will be mad at me, but I don't care. The rivalries on the West Coast and really any other conference. I respect Michigan, Ohio State, but the SEC is where it's at. And definitely looking at these rivalries, Marv, is something that kind of energized me to pick in the University of Tennessee.
Terrence Cody, your record is 2-0 versus Tennessee. You changed the game. You changed the culture at Alabama, sir. And we greatly appreciate that contribution. No, but seriously, man, what does this game out of any games that you played at Alabama mean to you? What's this rivalry say when you saw it on the schedule, the 2 years you were with us, man? How did that resonate inside?
I didn't even know that it was a rivalry game until my second year at Bama. I just thought everything I was hearing was Auburn and Alabama. That was the main thing I heard. And just like Donté said, like it didn't matter what the records was and stuff. It was all bragging rights and stuff. Whoever beat who in the state. But I did pick up on some of it. Like whenever we played Tennessee, like that whole week, it would be just a bunch of stuff on campus about Tennessee hate week, Tennessee hate week. Tennessee hate week and stuff. Like you see it everywhere. And then like the seniors and stuff on the team, my first year at Bama, they were just like, man, I just fucking hate that team, man. I don't like them motherfuckers. Like fuck them. And like the whole time I'm hearing this, I'm like, I probably shouldn't say that. I almost chose Tennessee.
Wait a minute.
It's not too late. We can rewind time. Come on, Cody.
No transfer portal, Donté.
Hold on, Cody, how did you not know your first year there that this is a rivalry? From that Sunday, from the game before, in Saturday. Hold on. Sunday, you walk in the complex and all you hear is Rocky Top blasting from Sunday to that damn Saturday. It's that horrible damn Rocky Top song.
I didn't even know where that song was from, bro. Because the whole time they were playing it through practice, I was just like, why the hell are we playing like what's this?
What's this hillbilly shit?
But I mean, the guys, they explained it to me and stuff, and I was like, oh. Because the biggest rivalry to me around that time was still the Florida State-Miami rivalry and stuff. So that used to be a good rivalry to me. But the second year, that's when I was like, okay, all right. I get it now.
Well, I just tell you right now, I have my cigars on deck for this Saturday.
Same.
Man,
Same.
I still ain't got no
They don't need one.
I still ain't got no damn cigar.
But
I wanna real quick.
Damn game.
But
I
Marvin,
want to tell real quick. I want to tell Cody. Sorry, guys. I want to tell.
Go
I know
ahead,
he
man.
don't. I know he doesn't remember this. I know he doesn't remember this. But when I first met him in the Ravens locker room, we had just drafted him, and I was in my maybe 8th, 9th year in the NFL. And as soon as I saw him, I was thinking, "Damn, that's a big ass dude." I was like, "Okay, I get it." And I walked up to him and I kind of nudged him. I was like, hey, man, obviously I'm looking up to him. I'm like, hey, man. I was like, why you blocked that kick last year? I was still salty. I was still salty. But I realized, when I saw him, I understood why they call him Mount Cody. So I understood that. I don't know if you remember that or not, but I remember because I'm still salty about that. That was about 15 years ago, too.
Because you was probably like one of the first vets I ended up bumping into and stuff. You was like the first one to interact with me.
Yeah.
So I definitely remember that.
that's a great introduction. But Marvin, whenever somebody talks to you about your career, the first thing they're going to ask you is, what was your record against Auburn and against Tennessee, man? I got to hear it from you, man.
Listen, man, we talk rivalries. Yes, Auburn is the pinnacle of rivalries, but I will say Tennessee is right there with Auburn when you look at the Alabama Auburn rivalry, and Tennessee just is damn glaring because, again, if you lose to Tennessee, you never hear the end of it. And for a while, we lost to Tennessee several years in a row, and we had to hear about this. Now, I was a part of said losing streak, unfortunately. I only played defense, so I couldn't go catch and run the ball. That wasn't my job, So I feel like the greatest performance of my career was overshadowed by our offensive ineptness that day. Because to go out against Tennessee and put up 19 tackles and a sack, that's a performance that should have went down in history as one of the greatest performances against Tennessee. But because we took a L, because somebody can't catch, I ain't gonna call no names, it kind of gets overshadowed. But when you look at the rivalry as a whole, one of the most it's huge, man. You look at the guys who played in this rivalry from both sides, man. The fact that I've had the pleasure of sharing the field with Donté, and you look at the team who they had, you know, John Henderson, Albert Haynesworth, Raynard Thompson, Al Wilson, Cedric Wilson, Donté Stallworth, Jamal Lewis, Travis Henry. Then you look at all the players from Alabama. It's just a huge game with some amazing people, man. And I don't like to lose.
Well, Pettey, I'm gonna let you ask a question regarding this rivalry for these two guys here. And I know we have a limited amount of time left with Terrence. So go ahead and get what you like while we have them both on before we really start diving into the game itself.
Man, it's funny you say that, Marvin. I think generations define what rivalry is bigger to you, right? Like certain generations, the older generation, the Bama-Tennessee rivalry was so big because Bear made it big. And then it kind of went away for a while. And then you have these streaks where it was every team, like Bama would win 7 years. Then, like you said, Marvin, you were there for a 7-year skip when Donté and Tennessee was kind of running it. And then Tennessee had a drought for the last decade. You know, Saban kind of put it away. And I think Auburn to this generation will be the biggest rivalry. But we're now back to a point where Tennessee, Josh Heupel's got Tennessee back in the top 10. DeBoer got Alabama in the top 10. Third Saturday in October is back a top 10 matchup. And we're going back and forth for the first time ever in this rivalry. So, man, I guess I was more kind of commenting on it like you guys to this point from a fan perspective that we're finally to a point where this rivalry is not just teams running off 7 wins. It's now who can go win at the other team's house because it's kind of go back and forth. But, man, just I guess to give more flowers to the fans with you guys here, there's not much I can say. T. Cody, I told you before, I was in the stadium for both. That was the loudest moment I've ever heard in Bryant-Denny. But on the flip side, it was one of the quietest when Sean Alexander alligator armed a touchdown, and I still see Jason Witten running down that sideline. Man, what were the moments that you said it took a minute, right, for y'all to figure out because you're from California, you came from JUCO in Mississippi, Cody. What moment was it outside of that in the game that was like, holy shit, this is bigger than just another game? Now, you can jump on it, Donté. You can jump on it after Cody. Either one of y'all.
Cody's about to go.
Go, Cody. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Cody.
For me, it was probably like during the preparation during the week when I realized it wasn't just a game and stuff. And then it was we had back when YouTube first started and stuff. There's a bunch of videos being uploaded, and I guess they interviewed a bunch of students on campus. Why do you hate Tennessee and stuff? And like I remember seeing a couple of those clips.
Because they low down. They dirty.
And like it made me think like, man, this ain't just a game. This is like, I mean, this is damn near bigger than the last game of the season. So like preparing that week, then Coach Saban playing the music, like that's all we heard. Like even when we were working out, man, all we hear is that Rocky Top and stuff. And, Josh Chapman, he'll be playing it in his locker after practice and stuff. And I'm just like, man, I'm tired of hearing this song. But like, I didn't get a chance to play in my first year against Tennessee because I had hurt myself a week prior to that. And I had got hurt in this game, so I had to miss the first one. But they did end up going to Tennessee and holding it down. And I ended up playing in the second one. And man, it was just like that like walking into the stadium and stuff, man, it was just crazy. It was crazy. Like people had on so much Tennessee hate stuff, and then all the signs you seen. It was crazy, man. Even little kids coming up was like, "Yeah, I hate Tennessee and F Tennessee." And I'm just like, Jesus. Like, it's just a game. Hey, man. That's I guess, you know, like that's how I realized like Alabama football is just different, man. It's just different because that's all they got. just either Auburn
Right.
or Alabama and stuff. So
Hey, it ain't all we have. We have space in Rocket Center in Huntsville. Okay.
no, I'm talking about sports, man.
I know.
No.
I had to give us credit for something else because that's all we have.
He's
I
grasping
got
for
some
straws.
traction. It's not. I mean, shoot, like that's the reason I bought a house in Alabama, man.
But Donté, he's right. Alabama's different, and the only fan base I put there right next to him is those people up on Rocky Top. They're crazy as shit too, and man, you experienced that. So, being from California, was it a game in Neyland, or was it a game coming to Tuscaloosa? You're like, holy shit, this is a little different.
I would have to say going to Tuscaloosa because that was the first game that I actually dressed for, and you know, I mean, but you know when you get to Tennessee, you know, especially like Marv was saying from the very first. I mean, we have this thing on Tennessee called the Rock, and they paint the Rock every other day, but Alabama week. This thing is, I forgot to look and see what they have. I need to check that before I get off the call. But they would put things on the Rock, and you would see all the like fraternity row, sorority row have all kinds of things about Alabama, and I just remember hearing fans come up to me and being from California and making sure that I knew that Alabama was the week where we needed to beat the hell out of this team, and we usually did. But
Wow.
it was always a big rivalry. It was always a big rivalry, and it was one that I definitely enjoyed. I mean, I'm genuinely asking this question: what other rivalries in college football have their own day? This is like a holiday. The third Saturday in October. It's like Thanksgiving is the last Thursday in November. This is the third Saturday in October. Is there any other rivalries in the country that have a day like that? I genuinely don't know.
There's not.
Not other than just your annual end of the year, not that have their own end of the year date. No,
Right.
I can tell you this: your third Saturday won't be a pleasant one this year.
Before we get into that, real quick, Terrence Cody has to go to a meeting. We greatly appreciate you hanging out with us, brother. It's always an honor. And before you go, let folks know how they can find you and what you got coming up next, and we'll let you go, brother. Give your prediction too.
Okay, all right. Well, Instagram is just at Mount Cody. Twitter is at Terrence Cody. Facebook is my whole name. It's Terrence Bernard Cody Jr. Yeah, because I gotta create gotta put a different name because there's a bunch of fake profiles of me and stuff. So that's the only way to find it. I got my whole name spelled out on it and stuff, and then you'll see me with the Super Bowl trophy and stuff. But yeah, even the school email is tcody@smcc.edu. And my prediction,
Choose your words carefully.
What's Tennessee's record this year? I haven't checked on them.
They've only lost one game.
Lost one game?
We're both
Overtime
5-1.
in Georgia.
I give us by 3. I say we win 3.
Ooh, another nail biter.
I say 13-10.
Tennessee covers. No.
13-10 Alabama.
Now before you
Man,
go,
another
Cody,
hard fart one.
before you go, I probably wouldn't have gave out my work email. You're gonna be getting recruiting videos from 40 and 50-year-olds. They still got it.
Bro, ever since I got the job here, man, that was the number one thing that started coming through. Like, oh man, like people say, Coach, I can play both ways. I'm this, I'm that.
Like,
but the thing, guys like, oh yeah, Coach, I'm 5'5". I got the heart of a lion.
I watch Rudy every night.
That shit's fake. Gonna have you over there watching them 37U highlight video. Still got it.
That's why I messed up at, man. I ended up watching like everybody's video that I started checking my email. I watched literally like 100 highlight videos one day, and I was just like, I'm never doing that again, man. And then my coach told me, he was like, man, what you got to do is like after like the first 4 or 5 plays, that's how you can tell if they're good or not. So
I understand. Brother, we greatly appreciate you. We know you have to get to your meeting, man. We'll definitely have to follow up after the results of this game. But
yes, indeed.
till then, roll Tide, brother.
Roll Tide. Hey, good to see you, Donté, man.
You too, my brother. Love you, man. Good to see you, brother.
All right, man. See you.
See you later, brother. Take care. Glad we get to have him on just a little bit. The life of a coach is never ending, right? All right, we got to get to it. Alabama versus Tennessee. Like you said earlier, there's no more droughts. There. When this team plays, it means something. Something is on the line. This Saturday, something is on the line. Whoever comes out victorious, the path to the playoffs is still very much intact. The one that comes away the loser has their back against the wall. So which side is going to come out the right way? Let's talk about it. Guys, what jumps off the page immediately? Talk to me, Pettey. Then we'll go over to Donté and then up to Marvin.
I'll be honest. Tennessee, it's Tennessee's defensive line right now. You look, it's a weird paradox with their defense. They've given up some points the last couple of games against Mississippi State and Arkansas, which look, Bobby Petrino and that Arkansas offense are scoring on everybody. But they lead the country in sacks. The defensive line's getting after it. They're still getting it done. And that's where – and they don't give up on many sacks. That's on the other side. So can they get to Ty and disrupt Ty in the way he hasn't this year? Because – and look, Bama's offensive line on the flip side has steadily gotten better each week. Hadn't given up many sacks. Can they give Ty time to get to that secondary that can be got by Tennessee, or can Tennessee cause enough havoc to get Ty out of his rhythm? I think, man, I know this is the old adage and maybe putting some lipstick on saying offensive and defensive lines are going to win this big ass game, but no, man, it's going to come down. That Tennessee defensive line is getting it done right now. Can they disrupt Ty and how good he's been? Because if you look in the numbers right now, 2 yards separate Aguilar and Ty in total and passing yards. We've got the top 2 quarterbacks in the SEC going at it Saturday night. And again, that's what my eyes on. Can Tennessee disrupt Ty? Can Ty continue doing what he's doing? I think that's going to be a key to this game going in.
Absolutely. Donté, where do you stand, man? What jumps off the page to you immediately before we even snap the ball?
I think, like you said, we've given up some points over the last couple of weeks. We've had some pretty close games, which can kind of build some fortitude within your team and good chemistry, knowing that you've been there before in close games and can pull it off. And we've also lost a close game. So I expect this game to be close like they all are. But I think you look at any of these games, right? Any of these big games, these big rivalry games where 2 teams are, relatively evenly matched. You have to look at the trenches always. The trenches, whoever controls the trenches are definitely going to have a leg up. But in controlling those trenches, which wide receivers, of course, I'm going to go with the wide receivers. Which wide receivers make the biggest plays of the game, the most timely catches, the big plays, the first and 10, coming off of a turnover, next play. Like both offenses have receivers that can take over the game. And I think it's going to come down to initially, obviously, who controls the trenches, and if they are, kind of even throughout the game on both sides of the ball, then it's going to come down to which playmakers can make the plays down the field.
Marvin.
Well, the thing that jumps off the page to me the most when looking at this game is the fact that Tennessee is averaging 48.2 points per game. They're leading the nation. They're averaging 317 pass yards per game, 246 rush yards per game. We're actually giving up 156 rush yards per game. We've sucked at stopping the run. So the fact that Tennessee has a high-powered offense that is number 1 in the nation in points scored, that really scares me. So, and again, you look at the other side of the ball, the way the defensive line controls the line of scrimmage, and we have not been able to run the ball successfully. We're averaging a little over 100 yards rushing per game, which in my opinion is horrible. I think we're like 136 something per game. To win this game, we're going to have to run the ball. We're going to have to slow down the pace of this game, and we're going to have to eat clock. the way Tennessee offense runs at such a high clip, if we get into a shootout with them, it's going to be a long night.
Now, we could jump on a couple of things you guys just talked about since Donté is our guest. Let's talk about the matchup really to watch, and that's Tennessee's wide receivers versus Alabama's DBs. Best on best, right? That's what you come. That's what you for. That's what the tickets are bought for. Let's talk about it. Chris Brazzell II, 536 yards. Braylon Staley, 431 yards. Mike Matthews, 416 yards. Yeah, they're catching some balls over there. But just don't forget about
their tight end as
Miles
well.
Kitzelman. Alabama fans, y'all should know him very well. We let him go, and he found a good home in Tennessee, and he's doing his thing. They're going against Alabama's defense with a secondary that's only allowing 136 passing yards per game. However, guys, we got freshman Dijon Lee emerging with that secondary. We're getting an upgrade. So I ask, who has the edge here? Donté, let's talk about it first. Tennessee's offense, like you said.
Hold on, though. Before Donté answers, listen. You know
I didn't get to ask the question.
I know, but something pissed me off from last week when you started talking about this secondary. I ain't gonna call no names, number one. When that damn tight end caught that ball on the sideline and you ran your ass out of bounds so you didn't have to tackle him, that was the softest, most piss-poor, tampon-wearing ass play I've ever seen in football. You purposely run out of bounds so you don't have to tackle this man.
No, I get what you're saying. And you notice he was replaced by Dijon Lee, who ultimately saved the game with that interception at the very end. This kid's growing up before our eyes, and pretty soon I don't see him coming off the field. But let me get back to my question, Donté, if you're still with me. I appreciate your patience, brother.
That's been on my heart since Saturday.
He felt the leading by the Spirit, is what it was. No, but Donté, like you said, brother, Tennessee's offense thrives off of explosive plays. How does this wide receiver room prepare to attack a disciplined Alabama secondary? Minus number one, Marvin. We'll put Dijon Lee in his place. But if you're in that room right now, how are you prepping your guys for arguably the best part of Alabama's defense?
Kelsey Pope, the Tennessee's wide receivers coach. I like him a lot. He's a good wide receiver coach. He knows the game. He knows the position very well. He coaches his guys to be smart, tough football players. And, a game can be very long. It can have its different ups and downs. And when you're playing a big rivalry game on the road, it's going to be crazy loud down there in that stadium. And you have to play with poise. You have to be able to go out there, and when it's third down, the place is going to be rocking. You're going to not be able to hear much, right? But we've practiced for this all week, and so I know that Kelsey has those guys ready to to be focused, right? Because any third down, any play can be the play that quote unquote wins you or lose you the game, right? And you never know which play that is until at the end of the game. And so the way that he coaches is he teaches them that any play can be that play. First quarter, second quarter, throughout any course of the game, you never know which play that it's going to be. So go out there and ball your hardest. Make sure that you take the approach that we are going to go out here. We're unstoppable. They can't stop us, and we have to beat them. The wide receivers have, and I told them this before the season started, the wide receiver room is always, at least at Tennessee, has always been the engine that made that team go. And the team would only go as far as the wide receivers went. And those guys have a lot of heart, they have a lot of passion, and they're hungry. I think they're not thinking about it, but they're still pissed off about that Georgia game. We left some plays out there. But, that's what you do every week. You try to go out and correct mistakes. And then you look at the other defense, you look at Alabama and see what their vulnerabilities are, see what their strengths are, and you try to attack them that way.
Well, sir, let me just be the bearer of bad news. Yourself, Peerless Price, Cedric Wilson, y'all not walking out that tunnel. No, y'all will be watching just as us will be watching, who all have an opinion. But the bottom line is, again, you're giving up 29.3 points per game. Our offense is averaging 34.8 points per game. Our defense is giving up 17.3 points per game. If our defense goes out and do what they have been doing, especially in terms of the pass game, giving up 136 per game, I think that sets us up to be in a great position to where it forces Tennessee to do something different. Now, where that worries me is if we're going to force them to do something different, that means we actually have to stop the run for once, which we seem to struggle to damn do. So it will do no good to take away what they do best if we can't stop the run. And again, passing game wise, we've been pretty consistent so far. It's just the run that's been killing us. So if we take away what they do best, I expect us to have a big day. But at the same time, this will be a close game. This game will be decided by 3 points or less.
Well, and it could be a shootout. When Cody said 13-10, I was like, did the offensive buses not make it to the damn stadium?
Hey, man, we're going back to 1995.
That's a defensive guy for you. That's a defensive guy.
That's
for
it.
You.
He wants
to see 13-10. He wants to see 13-10.
Well, you got to realize something. He said 13-10. What was the score when he blocked the kick?
9-3. 6.
Yeah, it was something crazy.
No, it was 12-10.
12-10.
Yeah, I was going to say, we were going to win that game. All we had to do was make that field goal, and that was going to win it for us.
He's basically reliving when he played.
Right.
No, but Marvin, you make a good point. Marvin, you make a good point on the run game, man. And with Jam not being there, it's going to put more emphasis on Ty and the receiving core to get going. I've got 2 questions for you, Donté. One's personal because I've got Donté damn Stallworth here, and I want to ask a personal freaking question. 2 is going to be more of a noise, it's something for the fans and the way you play receiver versus now. But you man, look, we're Alabama here, Roll Tide, but we're football fans too, and you went from California, you went to Tennessee at a time where Tennessee really did recruit nationally. They were a national machine at that. But what was the final draw? Was it because it was receiver? Peerless Price, all the way Alvin Harper. I mean, we could go on and freaking on the names of the guys that played there. Was that what drew you, or was it Peyton, or what got you to Tennessee?
I think it was a number of things. When I first landed in Knoxville or at the airport, and I think it was our recruiting coordinator, who was at the time was also our running backs coach, Coach Randy Sanders. It was David Cutcliffe, who was the offense coordinator and quarterbacks coach, and then it was my coach, Coach Washington, wide receivers coach, Pat Washington. And when I first landed, Cutcliffe sit in the front seat. He turns around and he hands me the phone. He's like, "Hey, somebody wants to speak to you." So I'm thinking this is my mom. Like, "Hey, did you make it safely? Good luck with everything." Because back in those days, the NCAA wouldn't allow the schools to pay for your parents to go, your guardians. So I was all the way in Tennessee by myself, a 17-year-old. That's another story for another day. But I get there, and Coach Cutcliffe turns around and he hands me the phone. He says, "Hey, someone wants to talk to you." And so I get on the phone, and it's Peyton, and I'm like, "Damn." I'm 17 years old. I'm like, "Damn, I'm talking to Peyton Manning on the phone." And Peyton's basically like, he's like, "Hey, Donté, man," he's like, I'm really sorry I didn't get to stay down there and meet you. He was training for the draft, right? This was like mid-January when I was down there, and he had, the season had just ended, and I think he was spending time with his girlfriend, who's now his wife, from school. And so Peyton called me and, talked to me and basically, just made the pitch for me to come to Tennessee. And I got off the phone and I was like, "Damn, I can't wait to get back and tell all my friends I talked to Peyton." So that obviously, just to see how much of, because I was under the impression that once everyone left college, they just kind of went to the NFL and did their thing, didn't really,
different.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
different
it's totally different. So, I think that was a big draw. Another big draw was when I actually got on campus and I saw all the orange everywhere, which was a color that I hated. I only had a picture. Growing up, only had one photo of a Tennessee player, and it was Peyton Manning. And I was like, I can't have that orange in my room. This is terrible. This is terrible. I can't have that orange in my room. I was a 49ers fan, and red burgundy is my favorite color. So 49er stuff everywhere, and I had colleges all over. But the funny part about it was when I got to Knoxville and I got on the strip on Kingston Pike down there, and I see freaking McDonald's that's orange. Now I didn't understand the realities, like actually what capitalism was.
Hold on, Donté. You sure you want to continue talking about Tennessee and McDonald's at the same time?
Well done. Well done.
The jokes
Well
write
done.
themselves, folks.
Well done. Well done.
So they took you to the McDonald's
Well
and you
done.
got the number one. So that's what it
Well done. Well done. Well
So
done.
it was
Good
before
job.
Jeremy.
I didn't try
Well
to set
done.
you up for that.
Well done. Well done. No, actually,
Petty, you
when I
set
found
that
out
up
about
very
that,
nicely,
I was pissed
sir.
off that I never got any McDonald's. I genuinely was like, where the hell was my McDonald's? I guess I came a few years too early. But no, I saw this orange McDonald's, and I saw the passion with all the fans and the students, and I just saw orange everywhere. And I didn't see that at Cal Berkeley. I didn't see that at Arizona State. I didn't see that at whatever other college I went to. And I was on my way to Michigan and Florida State after Tennessee, but I felt so good about Tennessee. And then there were a couple of things that happened. I have to admit, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the one of the other big factors was that when I got to Knoxville and we meet our host, T. Martin was my host, who happened to be the starting quarterback. And starting quarterbacks usually don't host players, but T made sure that he hosted me. And within the first 5 minutes, we realized that we were related.
Really?
I have my cousins. We're all from Alabama. My dad's family's from Alabama, which is a whole other story. But my dad's family's from Mobile, Alabama. I was born and raised in California, but my dad's side of the family is from Mobile, and so obviously T. Martin is from Mobile, Alabama. So he has relatives in Mobile that I'm related to through marriage, which is I thought was hilarious. And it's just like, whether you believe in God or the universe or whatever, I was like, the stars are aligning and like telling me to come here. And I had, like Marv you talked about earlier, I had done all my research. I knew that Tennessee was graduating 2 of the 3 starting wide receivers, and there were a bunch of young guys that were coming up underneath, and they really didn't have any speed guys. And that's one of the things that T stressed to me on my visit. And he basically was like, you need to come here. Like, we need you. And when the starting quarterback is telling you that, and we're considering ourselves cousins because we're related through marriage, which is weird. I thought that we found out. It was just kind of destined for me to go there. And I'll never forget when I went home and my mother asked me how the trip go and everything. And I told her I had a great time. And, I really like Tennessee, but I'm still, I have Michigan and Florida State next. And so I told her I'm going to take time and think about it. And so after a couple of days, she said, have you made a decision yet? And I said, no, I still have to go to Michigan and Florida State. She looks at me like this with the side eye. She says, you made your mind up already. And I said,
Mama,
why do you say that? She said, you're going to Tennessee. And then I started smiling. I'm like, why? Because I hadn't really made up my mind. I didn't think I did, but my mom knew before I did. She said, because you haven't stopped smiling since you come back from your visit. And I'll never forget that because it's like, moms always know, right? Like they always know. And so that's one thing that like I'll never forget. But my mom knew before I did that I was going to go to Tennessee. And like I said, everything just kind of fell into place. It was destined for me to go there, and actually fell in love with orange, which is why I have orange on now. I've got orange shorts on that you can't see. But one thing that I'll just kind of throw in there as the kind of end of it. But I currently live in Washington, D.C., and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. Every time I wear like something, I wear either my orange Tennessee visor or an orange or a Tennessee shirt. Every time I'm running, I hear at least 1 or 2 people yell, "Go Vols!" Because Tennessee Knoxville is only 7 hours from here, and I didn't realize this when I first moved here, but it's a huge alumni presence here, and we'll all be at Blackfin here in DC watching us take down Alabama this weekend. I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Well, while you're watching it, you will not hear "get 'em smoky" too many times. I just want to be clear about that.
Hey, Donté, great answer, man. I'd have been remiss not to have the Tennessee wide receiver question. And look, y'all are historically wide receiver. Before I give credit, Saban Bama took it over, right, Marvin? But you guys are historically wide receiver. And not having you and being able to ask that, I'd have been remiss. So sorry to derail, guys. Y'all can.
That's okay.
No, all good. Appreciate it.
Hold on, you didn't derail actually, and I want to follow up with something, Donté. So going on the road, playing in a hostile environment, a place like Tuscaloosa, man, huge. It's extremely loud. When you're out there on offense and the fans are screaming at the top of their lungs, and you all is trying to make those checks and adjustments, how difficult is that for a wide receiver playing in an environment like that to be on the same page with this quarterback in terms of those checks and adjustments that are being made in real time.
And Donté, man, before you answer that was my second question, but a little different. So I want to add to it because you played in the era where it was almost the end of the receivers running into plays, right? And now we're at an era where everything hand signals.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I won't answer Marvin's with the crowd noise. How does it affect you? But B, has that been negated with hand signals a little bit? And how does that in today's game can that negate the crowd noise?
Great questions from both of you, Marv. So it was different. It was definitely different for us because we had to get the plays, run in through a player, right? And the quarterback's calling the plays, and so we are essentially, having to listen to the, get in a tight huddle where everyone's kind of like, got their ear in this one little circle where the quarterback's yelling, and it was extremely difficult. And I think also too, a lot of people can become unnerved, with the crowd noise. I tend to, for me, it was like listening to Mozart. It was like that beautiful music because what their intentions are. Their intentions are to mess you up. Their intentions are to, pull for the other team. But the greatest thing is to silence that crowd. And the only way you silence them is you either big plays or long sustained drives. And you get I personally, whether if it was home or away, I would feed off of the crowd. I would enjoy, being able to kind of hear the crowd and all that. But I mean, when you're trying to communicate plays, it can become definitely difficult. Now, to answer the second part of that question, I think a lot of that has been negated because that kind of takes out some of the nervousness, like, damn, I didn't hear that play that well. And, you have to kind of stay in for an extra second or two and listen. But Tennessee, we run a really fast-paced offense, and they get all their signals from the sidelines. And so, one of the things not to jump too far ahead, but I remember, God, I can't remember if it was Brady or someone, Tom Brady. One of them said that they were kind of concerned that the college kids aren't in there calling the plays because it kind of changes the dynamic. Because when you get to the NFL, you're calling plays, like you're going to call plays, and but I think it also negates a lot of issues with crowd noise as far as the communication aspect of it. But when you can hand signal, that's so much easier. But you still have to deal with the crowd noise, right? You still have to deal with that noise of distraction, because it can be a distraction if you allow it to be, and it's going to be extremely loud. And like I said, some people love it, some people get unnerved by it. And I think the biggest thing is just you practice for it all week and all week throughout the week. You practice for that crowd noise. It's going to be crazy loud, and you try to hope that essentially replicates what you're going to hear by some kind of fraction on Saturday when you get down there to Bama.
Well, see, here's the thing. Defenses have always been ahead of offenses, including signals, because defenses have always just been hand signals called in. We never used the signs and everything else for defense. But the reason I ask you that question is because Alabama fans, nation, I need you to hear me and hear me well.
Here it goes.
Your noise will be pivotal in Saturday's game because Tennessee will go for it on fourth down. So in a lot of these situations, we need to be as disruptive as possible because on the season, Tennessee is 100% on fourth down. They will go for it, and they
what I think would really be disruptive is if they just got silent, and it was like spooky. They said nothing. They didn't cheer at all, or yell on third or fourth down. I think that made disrupt us even more. So they should just be quiet on third and fourth down.
No, we need you to be as loud and disruptive as possible because again, we need them jumping off sides. We need those false start penalties so that we can keep them in more reasonable situations or more favorable situations for us in third and fourth down because they will go for it on fourth down.
No doubt. Hey, before we move to our next topic, Marvin, tell the folks what they need to be bringing to Bryant-Denny Stadium this Saturday.
Hey, listen, man, when you show up to Tuscaloosa, a.k.a. T-Town, a.k.a. Titletown, a.k.a. home of the 18 national championships, home of the 30-something SEC championship, home of damn near 100, if not more, All-Americans, please show up with your title towel. Visit whitwillsports.com. Enter the promo code, the Bama Standard, for your 10% off discount. And when you in there and we land that smackdown, you better have that title towel in the air waving, getting ready. Because I'm telling you now, when Dixie and the light come on after we lay them down, it's going to be a movement.
Oh, great way to get us ready.
Can you send me one of those towels?
Yes, we can. If you would. Hey,
For
man.
what?
I'd
love
email
me.
Email me back your address. I'll get you one.
No. What do you want the towel for?
Hey, man, listen. I get it. He's a part of Ravens flock, man. I'm gonna help my flock guy out. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Bama fans, they're asking this question: the impact of having Jam Miller out. What will Tennessee do defensively to counter Alabama without Jam? So this kind of look at the way things have developed offensively for Alabama. When Jam returned, it really opened things up for us offensively and took pressure off Ty. And if we're honest, it allowed him to level up. With Jam and concussion protocol, the question here is, how can Alabama produce a run game with Daniel Hill and Kevin Riley? Will we be able to stretch Tennessee's linebackers? Can we wear on them and slow them down in the fourth quarter? Arkansas's running back Mike Washington was able to do that to the tune of 139 yards on 19 carries. With Jam out, Alabama's going to be looking to Ty Simpson's arm to win it. How does this shift pressure on both sides of the ball? Where's your comfort level with Ty carrying the game on this arm? Start us out, Marvin, then we'll go over to Daniel, and then I'll be curious to get the Tennessee perspective of having a player like Jam out from Donté.
Well, I'm not worried about Ty having to carry the game on his arm. He's demonstrated that he's fully capable of doing that. But at the same time, I know we need to run the ball to slow down the pace of this game because Tennessee wants to run plays at a high clip. So if we're passing the ball and we're getting incomplete passes and 3 and out, we're leaving too much time on the clock to extend, what could potentially be plays for Tennessee later on down the road. So we're going to need to run the ball to eat that clock and to wear Tennessee's defense down. Now, going into this game, we're averaging, 136 rush yards per game. Tennessee's giving up a little over 103 yards per game. Their front is solid. So now that we're back without Jam Miller again, that really troubles me. It troubles me a lot because, again, I feel like the other running backs have had multiple opportunities against Florida State, the second game of the season as well, to really show and who they are prior to Jam returning. And right. I don't think that they've shown us the productivity we expected from them going into the season, the reason why you see Riley playing. Because going into the season, no one said a word about Riley. He was an afterthought. No one said one word about him. It was all about Hill. It was all about Jam. It was all about every other running back in that room. But through those first couple games, they gave us nothing. So now we're playing against arguably the best front we played all season. Only giving up 103 rush yards per game. And I'm going to say this. And Wilkin Formby should not be on the damn field. I watched that man just let people run past him last Saturday. And I'm in the middle of a sports bar and I yell out, buy a damn ticket. That's the best you got. Because all you're doing is watching people run past you. If he's in the game, it's going to be a problem. Because if we can't run the ball and we can't pass the ball because he can't block to save his damn life, it's going to be a long night.
Pettey, you can pick this up, and Marvin's on to something here. If you watched the tape last week when Michael Carroll and Jaden Roberts were both in, the offense was able to get push, and we're able to play at our best. But you take Carroll and Roberts out, all of a sudden all hell's breaking loose. Ty Simpson is on the ground. Bad things are happening. If we need these running backs to really pop off, we're going to have some blocking up front. But if you would, man, take the question. What do you need from these running backs? What do you see from Daniel and from Kevin? Or are we looking to Ty again to carry this for the Alabama?
they can't make the offense one-dimensional by being on the field with their inability to block or pick up the blitz. Because if you've got a running back on the field that can only run the ball, you're now a one-dimensional offense because you know what's coming when he's on the field. Because as soon as he comes off, it's a pass. That's what Jam presented. He gave another burst, but he also could block. So when Jam was on the field, you were unpredictable as an offense, and that's where that's what people miss the most about running backs. Running backs can make you very damn predictable based off their ability just to simply block. And I'll be honest, man, I said it last week. The line was stinky up at Missouri. I was worried about it. Bama didn't cover. Like I was trying to tell you, like they won the game. But and I'm sorry to be the Vegas guy, but I look at lines and man, I don't understand this one right now. I don't know why it's so high because I'm with Marvin. With Jam going down, Tennessee's ability to stop the run, you're going to have a young kid and it's a good thing that it's in Bryant-Denny, right? If this was in Tennessee, I'd be real damn nervous right now because with it being in Bryant-Denny, you're going to get the friendly confines, you're going to get your fans, whatnot, but you're going to have a freshman step up. You're going to have Young get better in the pass pro. You're going to have these guys step up in that. Or again, it is going to be all on Ty and the receivers to just be able to blitz Tennessee secondary. And again, this is a defensive line or a front seven that's leading the country in sacks. They can get after your ass. So that puts pressure on your offensive line. Proctor, all those guys. Formby's out there, and he's a turnstile. That shit could get ugly quick if Ty's having to fucking run. Sorry, if Ty's hearing ghost in his ear all night from this pass rush from Tennessee. So, look, man, I'm not your bubblegum roll tide. We're gonna kick some asses Tennessee at home guy. That's not because you look at X's and O's right now. There's some concerns like the matchups. Yeah, football's matchup game, right? All the way across the board. You've got your strengths versus your weaknesses, and there's times where you match up against one team and you look great, and you'll play it done. And people are like, why did we look so bad the next week? Because the matchups weren't right. I mean, this is a matchup right now with Jam going down that there's a lot of things that favor Tennessee, and we've talked about it earlier. This is an offense that is yet to proven they can be stopped. I mean, they're scoring 50 points a freaking game, and it's
48.2.
Yeah, I'm talking the last three they put up 50 plus. So it's just all right. Yeah, no, they didn't against. No, yeah, you're right, putting up 42, but still, that's an offense that's yet to prove down they can be stopped. So this is a hell of a fight on the hands, and Jam being gone, I think, could prove to be a bigger loss than we realized come Saturday night.
Donté, y'all don't have that problem. You got a three-headed monster at running back, and Josh Heupel let Vol Nation know, hey, your top guy, Deshaun Bishop, who had 146 yards last week, is expected to play. But if you look on our side of things, you got to get giddy because, like Marvin and Pettey said, man, this guy's an impact player in so many ways, not just running the ball. What kind of effect do you see his injury or him being out having on this game?
Yeah, I mean, you guys nailed it. When you become one-dimensional as an offense, I mean, you could really look at it. You could really look at. I mean, it happens in the NFL too, right? Like you see when a guy goes out, like a Derrick Henry, when he goes out of the game, they're probably not running the ball. They're gonna throw the ball because it's Derrick Henry, right? You're gonna run the ball if you have Derrick Henry. So when you become more predictable, I think it gives the defense an advantage, obviously, but. As we say, man, I look at all these games and I mean it doesn't matter. I hate to say it, but it just doesn't. The matchups and all that. This is Tennessee, Alabama. Like this game can go either way. Injuries, no injuries. At the end of the day, I mean, I understand like that there are deficiencies on Alabama's side of the ball, but we're going into Alabama. Right. And like,
good point.
You can never underestimate going into that place and trying to come out with a win, how difficult it was. Every time I went down to Alabama, I'm like, they suck. We're going to beat them by like 40 points. And it's a one-score game every time. And
John could catch you wouldn't have.
Thought you weren't saying his name, Marvin.
My bad.
No, but I mean, it's Alabama, Tennessee is always going to be that way, and I think when we've got a couple of guys in the secondary that have been injured, since the start of the season. Yeah. We're hoping to get them back. I don't think we'll get them back this week, but Injuries are going to happen. It's that time of the season where the attrition starts to hit, and going down to Alabama is going to be a tough task, regardless of who comes out on that field on Saturday. And I know as a fan, you always want the best players out there, but Alabama is for me, is no less of a threat out there when obviously I'm not playing the game, but I'm watching, and obviously Jam Miller being out there he's the man, but his absence is going to give someone an opportunity in a big game on the biggest stage of the season to come out and show what they can do. And so you can never underestimate that. Buster Douglas went out and beat the hell out of Mike Tyson, and no one thought he was going to win. So these kids are on this level for a reason. I don't get any calmer or any more confidence knowing that the injuries that you guys have on the other side of the ball. It doesn't do anything for me.
Well, I'll say this: we couldn't run the ball against an inept 3-3 Florida State team.
I think
that was a few weeks ago.
With effort,
we've struggled to run the ball against everyone else since then. So this is going to be the most pivotal game in the season, to where we need to be able to run the ball, given the pace that Tennessee likes to call and run plays at. If we don't slow this game down, it's going to be a long day.
Okay, I'm going to put both Marvin and Donté in the spotlight. Marvin, I'm going to ask you, Alabama stops Joey Aguilar if, and then Donté, Tennessee stops Ty Simpson if.
Like it.
Take it, Marvin, then go to Donté.
Given Aguilar's averaging 300 yards passing per game. Yeah, 317. The one thing I will say that's in our favor is we don't give up a lot of passing yards. So I don't see his passing really being the thing that hurts us most, as much as if he leaves the pocket and scrambles.
He can run. Yeah.
That's where we struggle. And I said it, and I'll say it again, like before we played Vandy. Stay out of cover 2. Stay out of cover 0. Okay? Stop running these blitzes up front with everybody running to the damn goal line, and you got DB's back turn and quarterbacks just killing us. That's what happened against Florida State. That's what's been killing us in the past. In order for us to do what we need to do, again, I'm going to say it, we have to go back to a 3-4 or a 4-3 or some type of 5-2. We need a 5-man front to where we can stop the run up front, gap control football, put some cover 1 in there, mix in some cover 3. And if you just have to do it, if you have to run 0, be mindful of where you run 0 at on the field.
All right,
all I'm gonna
Donté, you're up, sir. Tennessee stops Ty Simpson if.
Yeah, I think Ty Simpson he's extremely efficient. If I'm not mistaken, he's got 1 interception on the year and 15 or 16 touchdowns. That doesn't happen by accident. We need to be able to put pressure on him. Obviously, stopping the run is going to be a big deal. Put them in 3rd and long situations so you can get after the quarterback, and hopefully you can rattle him enough to where he's throwing the ball a little early, making some mistakes here and there. But it's gonna take a lot to get that done. He's, like I said, he's been efficient pretty much all season, and one of the ways to beat a quarterback, any quarterback, no matter what level, is to get pressure on them and get pressure consistently. And I think that's something that we have to do. But also, again, stopping the run is going to be just as big to put them in 3rd and long situations. So they have to go and we can pin our ears back on defense and try to get after him, because he's been extremely efficient all year.
See, all they got to do is line up on form beside and run some TE stunts and some more. He can't ass off a block crap. My God.
All right, well said. Go ahead. Was that Pettey?
There's no more Taco Casa for Marvin.
No, I don't eat no damn way.
All right, so great job, gentlemen. I'm going to go to the audience now. We got a few questions. I know, Donté, there's a few I've seen here for you specifically, so we'll definitely get to those. First, I want to acknowledge Anthony Sharp, who's a new member of our channel. Thank you, brother. We greatly appreciate that. All right. Andrea Bergenham, what do y'all think about just using Proctor as our running back this week? Think the Vols plan for that move?
We will now.
Well, the better question is,
Thanks, Andrea.
How many carries
Right.
can he really? How many times he really carried the ball before he had a breath? He put 2-3 carries.
Honestly, listen, I enjoy seeing it. I would love to see
Give
the
him a
big
touchdown.
man get a touchdown. But guys, you can't risk an injury in a game like this. So this hold off on the cute stuff for this game and just go out there and win it. Because if he goes down, that's not good. Especially with the injury bug here as of late. Let's not press our luck. What, Marvin?
Nothing.
Oh, okay, I thought you were going to add something. Seeker 504. Hello, Donté Stallworth. Greetings from New Orleans. You were part of the greatest play ever in Saints history. And then we go and blow the extra point. What a shame.
I remember that play.
Oh man, that was
that.
crazy. Crazy game. He's a roll tide though. I love that.
Greetings
from New Orleans. I love that.
Hey, shout out to our guy, Big Bill from New York. $8. Ty Bing from Tennessee is going to want to light them up. And he will. The kid looks great. RTR. Thank you, Bill. And then we got Bill again with a question. Why is Tennessee giving up so many points? What is their weakness on defense, Donté?
I think so. From these last couple of games, I mean, Arkansas just first drive of the game, they got the ball and just drove it right down on us with a very heavy dose of running the ball. We hadn't been able to stop the run that well in the last couple of games, but I think the good thing about us is that when the game is on the line, certain third downs we tighten up, and our offense is always productive for the most part. So our offense can, the defense has to get just a few stops, and the offense can pretty much help take over. But we've had some issues, injuries in the secondary that has kind of caused some issues as well too. So.
Tough as nails. I might let Donté talk about this. Is Hollywood going to have a breakout game? Well, if he's healthy, possibly. But a lot of Alabama fans are being extremely hard on Ryan Williams. And this here from a perspective of a former wide receiver, one of the best to ever come out of the SEC. What do you see from Ryan? And I guess what is the ceiling? And should fans be this harsh on him?
Well, I think whenever you have someone who's got the talent of Ryan Williams, not producing the way I'm sure he himself wants to, they're going to be frustrated. But I can guarantee you, no one's more frustrated than Ryan. I had a chance to watch the last game. I think he only got targeted once. I don't know what that is about.
Yeah.
I'm not in the meetings. I don't see the film. But as I was watching the game with my nephew and we were talking. And I think it was extremely late in the game, and he had only one target, I believe. And that's something like on my end, like as someone who felt like I was a difference maker, I'm going up to the coaches. I'm not yelling, I'm not screaming, I'm not cursing them out or any of that. But I'm like, if the game is close, I'm like, hey, what are we doing? What are we doing right now? Like, are we trying to win this game? What's happening? I don't know Ryan that well, but I kind of seen his demeanor a little bit. He doesn't seem like the kind of kid that would do that. But to me, and again, I don't know the background or everything what's happening, but to me, I think it's inexcusable for a player of Ryan Williams' caliber to have only one target. I'm not blaming the quarterback. I'm not blaming the coaches, but for whoever's the totality of that decision making is, there's no way that he should only have one target in it. But I love watching the kid play, but I would definitely not be upset if he only gets targeted once this game on Saturday.
Well, it's up to the offensive coordinator to scheme up situations for those players to be able to get the ball. So going into this game, the fact that Tennessee is giving up 274 yards a game passing, I think it's a perfect opportunity for him to have that game.
Yeah.
Because that secondary, it's not a no-fly zone, baby. You can fly over
We've got some injuries. We got a little bit.
You can fly over there now.
Hey, Dominic Ferreira. Who dat, Donté?
Yes. Who that?
You're popular tonight, Donté. Nelson, Donté, personal question. What was Tom Brady like? I appreciate you for the 2007 run with the Patriots.
Brady's the man. He is a perfectionist. He wants to do everything right, and I think he is one of those rare players that just raises the level of everyone around him because you see all the things that he's doing and the commitment that he has, and you have no choice but to give 101%. And those are the Jordans, the Kobes. Those are the guys that are going to be etched in memory throughout sports history because of that, because of their mentality. I guess you could say it's that Kobe mentality, right? That mama mentality.
Yeah.
Not many people have that as far as the perfectionist and literally doing everything. I mean, the dude eats avocado ice cream, for God's sakes. Who in the hell wants to eat avocado? I love avocados and I love ice cream, but I'm not eating no avocado ice cream. I'm going to eat a Ben & Jerry's cookie dough or American Dream ice cream. And this dude, I mean, he took everything personal. It was all about his diet. It was all about, what can he do to make himself better so he can be a better player for the team and help the team win championships. And he, great guy, love him to death, off the field and on the field, great guy. It was a pleasure to be able to say I played with him and caught my last touchdown. My last pass was a 74-yard touchdown or 69-yard touchdown from Tom Brady. So that's like my little bragging right, I guess.
Nice way to
Tom
go.
Brady's a turd. Nobody cares. we were in Miami.
Here we go.
Playing in the BCS Orange Bowl, having the time of our lives. It was a great week and a half. We knew we had the W, and it was wonderful. Then they decided to bring in this unathletic guy built like a substitute teacher, and we ended up losing. And it's like,
Marvin, that substitute teacher picked you all apart that day.
Hey, Donté, why don't you ask Marvin what he and his teammates did for preparation that week of the game?
Yeah.
Not important.
Yeah. I was eating avocado ice cream. Marvin was not eating ice cream.
Right.
We'll just say this. Luke owned a place called the Rolex, and we'll leave it at that.
Marvin and his crew came back from the clubs when it was time for Walk of Champions. It was just, there you go.
Yeah.
Man, we walked in the hotel the morning of the game at around 6:30 a.m. Dubos, the head coach, in the lobby, and we all looking at each other. And I'm with Chris Samuels, Kenny Smith, but I just pointed to Big Sam. I'm with him. So you got to start with him.
Right. Hey, y'all had a receiver number 15. Sorry.
Freddie
Millers. Freddie Millers. Woo, I love me some Freddie, man. But we'll talk about that another time.
Shout out to our guy, Jimmy Clay, $10. Thank you, brother. Whip the balls. Roll Tide. Don Parker, $5. Thank you, brother. It's that throw-up orange, that ugly inside of a pumpkin orange. I'm also not a dog person. Yes, they low down, they dirty, and they some snitches.
Look like a worker truck convention.
I love it.
RTR Mimi, do you think they can hear me screaming from my living room?
Yes.
They absolutely can.
Yes. Ask my kids. Absolutely, they can hear you. It affects the game. And believe that with all your heart.
You're right. Absolutely. Nelson, $1.99. If number one starts Saturday, I'm very nervous.
Yeah, you and me both. After seeing him over there tackling a water cooler on the sideline.
Shout out to our guy, Jason Bernard. $1.99 is Richard Young an afterthought now? He will be until he learns how to start pass blocking. If you can't pass block, you don't play.
Watch him get blown up the other day.
Christian Hughes, question for the panel. Is it time to move on from Wilkin Formby?
It was time last December.
There you go.
Nothing left to be said.
We'll let Mark have that.
We got one more question for Donté, and this is a good one too because we're all food guys here, especially when we're on the road visiting.
And I've got a
Fred,
quick follow-up to this.
Amet, what was Dante's favorite restaurant in Knoxville?
We had a place called Gus's Good Time Deli, and I believe it's still there. They would make the best burgers, the best. We actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, we actually had a gas station on Kingston Pike, right on the Strip, that had some of the best food, and we would go there during the day, at night, and get the bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches, get the fried chicken sandwiches. They had some of the best food there. I don't think they do that anymore, but God, those sandwiches were so great.
You have nutritionists now that don't allow you to eat this.
Hey, Donté, quick follow-up. You played ball in one of the culinary meccas of America in New Orleans. What was your favorite restaurant in NOLA?
Oh my God, Drago's, the charbroiled oysters. Anytime I go to New Orleans, and I go often, but anytime I go to New Orleans, I put my bags down and I go straight to Drago's.
That's
every
right.
time.
Okay.
Every time.
Answer I wanted to
and
hear.
order a dozen charbroiled oysters.
Love it. New Orleans, so good. Such great food.
Oh, the best.
All right, fellas, I hope you're ready. The third Saturday in October, there's no greater rivalry in the land. And one of the oldest rivalries in college football. When these two teams lock horns, something is on the line other than just bragging rights. Not just cigars. We got playoff implications here. Now we need to know who's going to come out on top. To start out with Marvin, then Pettey and Donté will be the final word.
It was extremely difficult to come up with my score prediction for this one. So many factors had to come into play for this prediction. But I'm going to go something similar to what I did last week. Where last week I said 27-17. Had we not gave up that late touchdown, I would have been right. Because it was 27-24. I'm actually going to go 27-24 Bama this week.
Another nail biter. Pettey?
Yeah, it's going to be.
Pettey, are you going to get my anxiety level down, or are you going to keep it way up like Marvin is?
Man, I don't. The spread gets me. I'll probably, man, if I'm taking the spread, I'm probably taking the orange on this. But I do think it's get your antacid time out in Tuscaloosa. I think it's a 38-35 type game that Alabama finds a way to win. Because I'll give you this. Debo, when he wears that black hoodie, it ain't the black hoodie. It's when he plays big games. This guy wins big games. So I'm giving it to Bohr in Tuscaloosa. Get your Pepsi, though. It's going to be a damn shootout, I believe.
All right, Donté, you had the final word. What do you see happening?
I actually had the same score, but obviously I got Tennessee winning 38-35. I think Max Gilbert gets some redemption by making a last-second field goal to win the game down there in Alabama, and silencing the crowd as we walk off the field and smoke cigars in y'all locker room.
All right.
I'll say this: whoever wins, the quarterback will be the number one front runner for the Heisman come Sunday morning.
That is true. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So I can't end this show without asking a very important question, especially with the way the landscape of college is changing. And I want everyone to answer this question. With college football changing so much, realignment, NIL, expanded playoff, how important is it to keep rivalries like Alabama versus Tennessee alive and intense? Starts out Donté, then Pettey, and then up to Marvin.
This is everything that college football is about. The NFL has their rivalries, and it's good, but there's no rivalries like college football rivalries. And regardless of how they, all these super conferences, the continuance of Alabama, Tennessee, Michigan, Ohio State, all these big rivalries with the landscape changing, those have to stay intact, because that is a big part of why we love college football. And I know that I forgot who it was. Someone earlier made a great point about the generational how the generational landscape has changed with these rivalries. And because when I was at Tennessee, our big rival was always Florida, and I think they made a big deal of it because Peyton could never beat Florida. But my freshman year when T. Martin was the quarterback. We beat Florida the first week. But Alabama, Tennessee was always a thing. And one of the things that stuck out to me the most, like I said several times on the show already, is that there's no other game that has its own day, right? Third Saturday in October. That is something that Tennessee fans and I know Alabama fans look forward to every year. And I was ready to speak to the manager before they came out with the games of like the constant teams that we would play every single year. Because I'm like, I don't give a damn who else is on that schedule. We got to play Alabama every year.
Mm-hmm.
We got to play Alabama every year. And I would have liked to play Georgia or Florida every year, but I understand why they did it, and I'm sure we'll be able to get those guys every couple of years. So as long as Tennessee, Alabama stays intact, then I'll be satisfied.
Agreed. Pettey.
I couldn't say any better than Donté, but from the fan perspective, I think you nailed it. And I was when I brought up the generational, because for the decade of the 90s, the biggest game in all of the SEC that decided the SEC was Tennessee, Florida. Therefore, it made it y'all's biggest rival. Y'all were kind of rolling it off against Bama, but here we are 25 years later, and that game is still means something to everybody throughout the generations. And again, you said they're about to drop Florida off the schedule. And I live in Tampa. One of my best friends and my neighbors is a diehard Vol. When you said Tennessee was orange earlier, his head may have exploded, and you completely redeemed yourself by saying you fell in love with it. But but that's what, even for him growing up in Tennessee, he hated Florida. He grew up in the 90s, hating that rivalry. But even he said, I don't care if Florida goes, but that Bama game, it does. There's some untouchables. You can take away some games. You can take away Bama, LSU. You can take away Tennessee, Florida. You can't take away the third Saturday in October. You can't take away the bowl. You can't take away Michigan, Ohio State. There are some things that make the fabric of this game beautiful, and that's it. Right. And you've lost a lot of fans, I think, in these changes. You've seen it already. That would be the one that I think would probably lose. You would lose a lot of the older fans for good if they did something.
Yep.
Well, I'll say this. It's all good and fine to keep these rivalries in place, but I said it a few months back, and I'm going to say it again. With NIL and TV revenue and the way things are going now, you may keep some of these rivalries, but you're probably going to lose a lot, because I'm telling you, I said this a couple months ago, and I'm going to say it again. In the next 3 to 5 years, there will be breaking news that the SEC and the Big Ten are leaving the NCAA and they're starting their own league, because it's only a matter of time before they finally say, we're no longer going to keep giving away revenue sharing to other conferences that aren't carrying their weight. And we know those two make the most money. So again, once you get the Big Ten and the SEC to form their own league, you essentially have a mini NFL. 16 and 16, 32 teams. You have a North and you have a South, baby. And I'm telling you, they're not going to want to continue to share money with everyone else. The way this revenue sharing is going, now that they're having to pay people, it's only a matter of time.
Great way to end this show, guys. But before we go around the room and tell folks how they can find us, I want to remind everyone of a few things we got coming up this week. We're actually going to be meeting with the #1 linebacker in the 2026 class, Xavier Griffin. Tomorrow night, we're going to have a nice little video recording with him, and we'll release it on Thursday. So be looking out for that. And as always, immediately following the game, we will be live for the post-game show. And then next week, we start out the week with George Teague and Teague's Take. So what he has asked for fans is to find a play of the game for him to review film-wise. Send me that play. Justin Riley at the BamaStandard.com. George and his son, JT, will review that film and let you know exactly what happened and why things didn't go the way they should have. So, yeah.
Can I send them that play from last week's game? I would love to hear George's breakdown of a DB running out of bounds to avoid making a damn tackle.
Actually, they did last night. If you want to check the replay, it's available right now on our channel. But yes, folks, that's going to do it for us. Before we go around the room, I want to give it to Marvin first, and then Pettey, then over to our guest. Tell folks how they can find you. And let's get this thing done, guys.
You can find me first and foremost as a winner, as always, being a member of the greatest institution and football team on the planet. Secondly, you can find me on Instagram, Constant45. You can find me on X, Constant451. And again, Roll Tide. Got my cigarette. My cigars on deck.
my blood.
He had he has Newport.
I got Reuben Foster.
Virginia Slims.
Yeah, Virginia Slims.
I got my Doral.
And some old English.
I have my pack on deck for Saturday, baby. It's gonna be a good one. I'm telling you now.
Pettey, you gonna have some menthols too?
Yeah, man. Some Swisher Sweets. Man, I'll be here. I'm here every Tuesday. Black and Miles. No, post game. I love having Donté come back post game.
Yeah, I'll do it.
But
okay,
man, y'all know where to catch me. Bama Standard, Pettey_Daniel on X. Man, I enjoyed the night, Donté. Man, really enjoyed sharing the stage with you tonight, my man. Watched your career.
Appreciate you having me.
And even better to talk to, but you're a hell of a player, so I enjoyed the heck out of this. Buddy.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, Donté, absolute honor to have you. Other than one game a year, man. Loved watching you play at Tennessee. Love seeing you do your thing with my Ravens flock, brother. We definitely need to have you back more often. Tell the folks how you can be found on the interwebs.
You can find me on Instagram and X.
Marvin cut his feed.
Oh, did they cut him off?
Marvin, you cut my feed?
I would never.
Marvin, you cut my feed?
I would never.
Cut my feed. You can find me on Instagram and X under my full name, Donté Stallworth, and I'll be posting my game day outfit Sunday right before kickoff, so you guys can see all this beautiful orange that I'll be wearing down here in DC with the rest of my comrades watching that third Saturday of October, that beautiful game.
Before we get out of here, I want to give a huge shout out to Jamar, Donté's sister, and John Hernandez, brother-in-law. Listen, without those amazing human beings, I would have never met Donté. When I say, listen, man, some of the greatest people I've ever met in my life, man. So shout out to y'all, because again, without y'all, this wouldn't be possible. And I'm so happy I got to meet him so now I can talk trash to him every year.
Man, again, thank you, Donté, man. Been an absolute honor. We greatly appreciate you. Thank you to everybody tonight who tuned in. Even when we went a little overtime, I think you can do that for a game like this, right? Thank you for the super chats. Again, we never ask for people to donate anything, but we greatly appreciate what you do. See you Saturday after this game is over. Roll Tide, everyone.
Roll Tide.
Go Vols.
Boo.